Once again, good morning from Rappahannock County. Rainy day, Friday, rainy Fridays, very nice, very nice. We need it. River's pretty dry. We had a couple of storms which help, but this is gonna make it a little bit better if it keeps up all day. Hoping, okay. We just talked for a second there about some flamenco tricks or things to do, flamenco-like things. I make no pretensions to be within the flamenco school in any way, but things like it, Spanish things. Spanish things sound good on any guitar. For God's sake, the guitar is Spanish. You know, I mean, we all stole it from them, and we continue to. But Rain Crow was asking me about some more things to do, more improvs to do. Capo 5, everybody, and I'm in drop D now. He was talking about what we're asking about, since he's interested in improvising in drop D, which is, I mean, a noble, really thing to do. And I suppose you can do a lot more if you don't capo, but it's the sound that I like. It's the physical sound up at 5. Now, there are two ways of thinking about it, and we talked about like in the Brawl de Village. You've got them on a separate recording, so just refer back to the Brawl de Village by Bissard. It's one of the performance pieces or one of the teaching pieces. I've forgotten which on the website. Really, really beautiful ways of playing. Now, there's a world, of course, that is beyond that, probably back to where Bissard started, which is, say, improvising from the get-go. Now, there's the steady bass theory, either 5 and 4, which is the fifth and the root. Or playing octaves with a drop D tuning, which is very effective. Drop D tuning idea comes to us from an early Italian lute music, the Petrucci manuscript in, I think, 1538. One of the really early ones, Johann Ambrosio Dalza and some others, they use this. The idea is to turn the lute or the guitar or the lute into a solo instrument for dance and stuff. So you have these wonderful little things you can do. Well, not only can you do all that stuff from that period, which has come down to us, these guys wrote the stuff down in tablature, which you can find. D-A-L-Z-A, Johann Ambrosio Dalza. You can find it. And you can find it in the lute tablature, which is using letters instead of numbers, but it's quickly decipherable. You wouldn't have any trouble with that. Go online, by the way, to the Lute Society of America, and they have lists of these pieces with the tablature, so you'll really enjoy it. It's a steel string guitar player's or folk guitar player's dream. The hard stuff is just as hard as any classical stuff on the guitar, but the stuff that's not so hard is readily accessible and fun as hell. So give it a shot. But now, just back to the point here. Improvising can be either with this stuff or just like this. More not so pounded away kind of rhythmic, more lyrical. But there's a middle ground that might sound something like this. Tuned it down so it tends to sharpen a little bit, so you have to keep adjusting it. Anyway, once again, like in the first tape, the first recording, I'm now playing with flesh tones, which is Rain, but which what you like to do, and I've really been working at it for a few days now, trying to build a callus on the tips of my fingers. This is really important because you get a sound. doing is improvising on the major scale, and that's all it is. This D, as it were, D, it's really G, but D, if we talk about the position. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and maybe an E. There's a little ninth on top. Now that, boy, there's a realm of really amazingly beautiful stuff you can do there. Playing scale steps is something you do in the beginning by going straight ahead. For the improviser, however, there are no rules, so mistake. And the question about what the right hand is up to, it comes up frequently, and the answer is there's no good answer, because if you're playing like a finger-style accompaniment, there is an answer, this. And that's basically called pattern picking, or some kind of a double thumb kind of thing, dead thumb, call it anything you want. But when you're improvising, the best thing to do is not do that. Get away from it a little bit. Want to play with the moving the thumb, the more exact rhythm, you can still do it easily. But don't be a slave to skip one step after another. Jump around the scale. You'll hear things. The beauty of all this is exploratory, right? So. When you're doing this double thumb thing, and you want to play like the F sharp on the fourth string, play with the index finger, and then just reduce the thumb strokes on the right hand to just the sixth string. So. And like what we said about the flamenco stuff, the same thing applies here. When you want to play a scale that really stands out by itself, you want to get a lot of tone out of it, and you're not wanting to play a rest stroke like that, use the thumb by itself. So you have. Silly tune you want. Scale in thirds. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and add the 4. So, very fancy, dandy little trick. I mean, in some of the early Von Ronk, like When I Go by Baltimore, whatever it's called. That's all it is. Here's D in the first position, D in the fifth position. What Von Ronk does, which is so interesting there, is he plays, and he goes like to to the B like that. When I go by Baltimore, leave no carpet on my floor. Come along and follow me. We'll go down to Galilee, red cream, rock and roll, alternating green. Nice song. Go back and listen to Dave Van Ronk. If you don't know about him, he was one of the icons when I was a kid and hanging out in Washington, in Greenwich Village up in New York, and trying to steal as much shit as I possibly could, which I did. And Dave was really cantankerous but neat guy who could play his ass off in a very folksy way, and had a great voice. But we take that theme that Van Ronk did in Green Rocky Road, or whatever you call the goddamn thing. What you do is you just use a part of it. Anyway, I hope that helps.